So yeah, the model variants. So you can find that function under model creation tab. So, but the main purpose of having this is you can just have turn on off all your MTMs. So by adding them everything into the dialog and making them active and inactive. So for example, you can have a set of tolerance which you need to be active for one type of production process, and you can have that turn on off for a different. So just to have that to be done instantly and easily, that's the way you can that's the main reason why you use the model variants. So once you open the model variant dialog, you have two options. One, you can just add MTMs and you can just go through the tree and pick the selected MTM, only the selected MTMs you want. Or you can just go ahead and right click and say set all MTMs as variants. So I'm going to do that so that it just brings in all the model information, all the MTMs in the dialog. So this is going to be my default variant. So my default variant is like whatever I have the model settings, I'm going to use the same thing. So now I'm going to add a separate variant here where it's just going to use for a different process. So I'm going to name it as variant 1. No, just going to.
So this would be good if you've got multiple suppliers who have different tolerance schemes,
Yeah.
or if you've got two different assembly processes, you want to model them both and have one variant or the other variant.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I would normally use it because I would want to build the model multiple different ways,
Right,
to see which process is better. And prior to this, I'd have to turn a bunch of moves on, run the simulation, turn a bunch of moves off and back on and run a different simulation.
Or for example, for FEA compliant modeler, we did an example of different hole patterns or different process patterns, right? You want to change the method you're doing it or test two different methods.
Right. And another good example is I like to have my compliant modeler where I can turn off all my compliant moves and just have this is the rigid body model, and another variance is this is the rigid plus compliant, instead of picking through my move tree and deactivating stuff.
So yeah, in this example, I don't want those GD&T that I created on this part. So I want to run the simulation without those tolerances. So I can just quickly turn them off. I can apply this variant. Yes, and you can see how those GD&T got turned off in the tree. So now by saving this model, I can run the simulation by just applying the default variant, by just clicking on it and say apply. So this will turn them back on and I can run the simulation with my default. Again, I can create multiple variants. I can turn on and off the MTMs that I don't want to be available for that particular simulation that I'm going to run, and I can use that variance in different ways like that. So this is one way of doing the variant. You can also export this information to an Excel file and save that there, and also edit that from the Excel and bring it back to the variant. So this is another way of doing it that too. So yep, so that's about the model variants, making the model.
So currently the key thing to know is model variance is just activating and deactivating MTMs. So if you wanted to simulate different manufacturers with different capability, you would have to write double tolerances in that part,
right,
so that you could turn them on and off.
Right. You'd have to have two different sets.
And
so
then I won't ask about the Excel, even though that was interesting to me. I'll find that out later.